Hello, good day. How are you today? You're good, right? Okay. Are you ready for today's lesson? You are? That is good. Today in civic education, we are going to be looking at rule of law. Okay? Our topic for today in civic education is on rule of law. So are we ready for the lesson? Under today's lesson, we are going to be looking at definition of rule of law, features and principles of democracy, factors limiting the application of rule of law, factors that aid the successful application of rule of law, and lastly, importance of rule of law. Okay? So are we ready? First, we are going to be looking at the definition of rule of law. Okay? The rule of law refers to the principle that all individuals and institutions, including the government, are accountable and subject to the law. It emphasizes equality, fairness, and the consistent application of laws. Do you understand? The rule of law is a principle that emphasizes the supremacy of law in the society. It means that all individuals and institutions, including the government, are subject to and accountable under the law. The rule of law ensures that legal principles are applied consistently and fairly to everyone, preventing arbitrary use of power and promoting a just and orderly society. Do you understand? The rule of law means that everyone, including the government, must follow and be accountable under the law. It ensures fairness and prevents the misuse of power, creating a just and orderly society. Okay, so we now know the definition of rule of law, right? Now we are going to be looking at features and principles of democracy. One of the features and principles of democracy, popular sovereignty. The power lies with the people who elect representatives and participate in decision making. People have the main say through elections. People power, okay? People have the main say through elections. Political equality. Every citizen has an equal right to participate in political process and voice their opinions. Equal rights. Everyone gets a fair chance to be involved. Do you understand? Rule of law. All individuals and institutions, including the government, are subject to and accountable under the law. Everyone, even leaders, follows the rules. Protection of minority rights. Safeguards are in place to ensure the rights of minority groups are respected and protected. Safeguards for small groups' rights. Minority protection. Free and fair elections. Regular, transparent, and competitive elections allow citizens to choose their leaders. Fair elections. Do you understand? Individual freedoms. Guarantees fundamental freedoms such as freedom of speech, assembly, and religion. Personal freedoms. Basic freedoms like speech and religion are respected. Independent judiciary. A separate and impartial judicial system ensures fair interpretation and application of laws. Fair courts. Courts treat everyone fairly. Civilian control of the military. The military is under the control of civilian authorities, preventing undue influence. Regular people control the military. Okay? Civilian control. Political pluralism. Multiple political parties and diverse opinions contribute to a vibrant political landscape. Many voices, different parties and opinions are part of it. Accountability and transparency. Government actions are open to scrutiny, and officials are accountable for their decisions. Government actions are open and leaders answer for them. Okay? So these are the features and principles of democracy. Do you understand? Now let's look at factors limiting the application of rule of law. Okay? What are those factors that limit the application of rule of law? 1. Corruption. When individuals in power misuse their authority for personal gain, it undermines the fair application of laws. That is cheating. Leaders using power for personal gain messes up fairness. Lack of access to justice. If people can't easily access legal resources or are unaware of their rights, the rule of law is compromised. Access to justice and to get help. If people can't easily get legal help or don't know their rights, it's a problem. Political interference. When politics influences legal decisions, it can lead to biased or unfair application of the law. Politics getting in the way. When politics interferes legal decisions, it's not fair. Discrimination. Unequal treatment based on factors like race, gender, or socioeconomic status goes against the principle of equal application of the law. Picking favorites. Treating people unfairly based on things like race or gender goes against the rules. Weak institutions. If legal institutions lack independence or are poorly developed, they may struggle to uphold the rule of law effectively. Weak rules enforcers. If the people making sure rules are followed aren't strong or independent, it's a problem. Arbitrary enforcement. Inconsistent application of laws without clear principles or guidelines can erode trust in the legal system. Making up rules. Rules should be followed consistently, not randomly. Limited judicial independence. When the judiciary is not free from external pressures, it may not act impartially and independently. Judges not free to decide. When judges can't make decisions without outside pressure, it's not fair. Crisis situations. During emergencies, government may infringe on rights in the name of security, challenging the rule of law. Emergency excuses. During emergencies, sometimes leaders break rules for what they say is safety. Do you understand? So these are the factors limiting the application of rule of law. Okay? Now let's look at factors that aid the successful application of rule of law. Independent judiciary. Courts free from outside pressure ensure fair decisions. Fair judges. Courts that are not pushed around make fair choices. Clear laws and processes. Easily understood rules help in consistent application. Clear laws help everyone follow the rules. Okay? Education and awareness. Knowing rights and legal processes empowers citizens. People understanding laws make the system work better. Transparency. Openness about legal actions builds trust in the system. Being honest about what's happening legally builds trust. Effective law enforcement. Strong institutions ensuring rules are followed. Good institutions making sure rules are followed. Fair access to justice. Everyone can easily get legal help. Everyone can easily find help with legal things, okay? Accountability. Leaders answer for their actions, preventing misuse of power. Leaders are responsible for what they do so that they don't misuse power. Respect for human rights. Upholding basic freedoms for all citizens. Everyone gets basic freedoms and rights. Civic participation. Engaged citizens actively contribute to the legal process. Citizens being involved makes laws work better. Strong legal institutions. Well-developed organizations uphold the rule of law. Well-organized groups keeping the rules in place. Smart legal groups. Okay? So these are the factors that aid the successful application of rule of law. Okay? Do you understand? Good. Now we are going to be looking at importance of rule of law. What is the importance of rule of law? Fair society ensures equal treatment and fairness for everyone. Stability provides a foundation for a stable and orderly society. Individual rights safeguards and protects the rights and freedoms of individuals. Trust in institutions builds trust in government and legal institutions. Prevents abuse of power. Limits the potential for misuse of authority by those in power. Legal certainty establishes clear rules, promoting predictability in behavior and decisions. Do you understand? Gives clear rules so everyone knows what to expect. Okay, so these are the importance of rule of law. Do you understand that? Fair society, stability, individual rights, trust in institutions, prevents abuse of power, legal certainty. So today's lesson on rule of law, we understood everything we talked about, right? We looked at the meaning of rule of law, features and principles of democracy, factors limiting the application of the rule of law, factors that aid the successful application of rule of law, and lastly, importance of rule of law. So we understood everything, right? So now we're going to be looking at our assignment.